congressional hearings, the minority party gets to select its own witnesses. And of all the people that Republicans could have selected, they picked Candace Owens. I don't know Miss Owens. I'm not going to characterize her. I'm going to let her own words do the talking. So I'm going to play for you the first 30 seconds of a statement she made about Adolf Hitler.
I agree. I actually don't have any problems at all with the word nationalism. I think that it gets, the definition gets poisoned by elitists that actually want globalism. Globalism is what I don't want. So when you think about, whenever we say nationalism, the first thing people think about, at least in America, is Hitler. You know, he was a National Socialist, but if Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well, okay, fine. Problem is that he had dreams outside of Germany. He wanted to globalize. He wanted everybody to be German, everybody to be speaking German.
All right, so my first question is to Ms. Hirschenoff. Ms. Owens said, quote, if Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well, okay, fine. The problem is that he had dreams outside of Germany. So when people try to legitimize Adolf Hitler, does that feed into white nationalist ideology?
It does, Mr. Liu. I know that Ms. Owens distanced herself from those comments later, but we expressed great concern over the original comments.
Would you like time to respond to that?
Yes, I think it's pretty apparent that Mr. Liu believes that black people are stupid and will not pursue the full clip in its entirety. He purposely presented an extracted clip.
The witness will suspend for a moment. It is not proper to refer disparagingly or to a member of the committee. The witness will not do that again. Witness may continue.
Sure, even though I was called despicable.
Witness may not refer to a member of the committee as stupid.
I didn't refer to him as stupid. That's not what I said. That's not what I said at all. You didn't listen to what I said. May I continue?
Please.
As I said, he is assuming that black people will not go pursue the full 2-hour clip. And he purposefully he cut off, and you didn't hear the question that was asked of me. He's trying to present as if I was launching a defense of Hitler in Germany, when in fact, the question that was asked of me was pertaining to whether or not I believed that whether or not I believed in nationalism, and that nationalism was bad. And what I responded to was that I do not believe that we should be characterizing Hitler as a nationalist. He was a homicidal, psychopathic maniac that killed his own people. A nationalist would not kill their own people. That is exactly what I was referring to in the clip, and he purposely wanted to give you a cut-up similar to what they do to Donald Trump to create a different narrative. That was unbelievably dishonest, and he did not allow me to respond to it, which is worrisome and should tell you a lot about where people are today in terms of trying to drum up narratives. By the way, I would like to also add that I work for Prager University, which is run by an Orthodox Jew. Not a single Democrat showed up to the embassy opening in Jerusalem. I sat on a plane for 18 hours to make sure that I was there. I'm deeply offended by the insinuation of revealing that clip without the question that was asked of me.
Black women are such fantastic actors. And on another note, I think the only reason the Democrats are angry at Candace Owens isn't because of her rhetoric and white nationalist talking points, but because they don't have a fast-talking heifer on their side that can match this trick's BS. Nonetheless, before I delve into this, I just want to remind you, brothers, that tomorrow, which is tax day, aka IRS take your money from you and give it to people who don't work for a living day, I am going to be hosting a live stream special over on my alternate channel. The link here is in the community post. If you scroll down a couple of posts, you click on this link and it takes you right to the scheduled stream itself, which will be tomorrow at or around 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. I will be having a special guest on there, Kid Organic, or in more recent times, most of you know him, aka as Organic the Illionaire. The title of the live stream will be MGTOWs Colluding with Black Feminists: How the YT Black Manosphere Has Been Compromised. And we're going to be not only addressing this circus show that's been going on with black men exposing themselves as fraudulent red pillars, Marlboro men, and MGTOWs, but also what like-minded black men like yourselves and me can do to mend the gap that has been created by these Negroes who have fallen out of favor with a lot of us who know better, and move forward in 2019 going into 2020 and beyond. So yeah, make sure you guys are there for that. Again, that's going to be tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, at or around 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on my alternate channel. The link is down in the community post. It will also be at the bottom of this video. Additionally, I keep getting asked, and I was just asked this morning, who is the woman in my avatar? Now, anybody who knows me and has been around my channels and content here and on other platforms know that I constantly use ratchet females, fefales as you guys call them, on almost all of my avatars. It's just my way of giving back to the shit that has, given to me. I give as well as I get, or give as well as I get, because I don't deal with these hoes anymore. But this particular female and me have a somewhat of a online history together, and I can't share that. I started to share that video explaining who this was, so you motherfuckers can stop asking me who's the woman in your avatar on YouTube, but I decided against it. So what I'm going to do is, anybody who wants to know who this bimbo is, you can now go to BitChute and view who this bimbo is. The video that I made is going to explain it. No, actually, I take that back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mix that video, connect that video that I made explaining who this is, along with a diss video that I made of this female that I was going back and forth with for a while, many years ago. So you guys can finally know once and for all who this is, and that's going to actually be made available on Black Avenger TV. I take that back. So if you want to see that, go to Black Avenger TV now. I'm not going to put a link in the description box to the specific video, but if you go to my Black Avenger TV general channel, whose link is down in the description box, you will be able to see that video. Okay. To this issue with everyone's little favorite bed wench, Candace Owens. This is a video that I've been planning to get to now for well over a week, but a series of other things got in the way, obviously. I've made a host of videos since this conference where the GOP put Candace Owens as their chief witness on the stand in front of this congressional panel that call themselves investigating white nationalist rhetoric. Now, I see a lot of people upset about Candace Owens and the things that she said. Most of them Democrats and libtards, some of them Republicans and independents. And, it completely baffles me in this day and age why people are so angry. Because in the age of information, number one, you have to understand that a Candace Owens is really no different than the modern day Mammy, as a certain content creator said on here. The only difference is she switched parties, because, the white nationalists, for the most part, not all of them, have switched parties. It used to be the Democrats, okay, that these females serviced on the slave plantation during Jim Crow, even during the civil rights movement. But now, they jumped ship and went over to the Republican side, and so naturally their mammies follow with them, okay? Now, I said during that whole Brenton Tarrant situation of the white boy that shot up the 2 Muslim mosques in New Zealand and killed like 50 people, and he mentioned Candace Owens as one of his inspirations, that, you know, it's really not at all surprising that this female is getting the amount of attention that she's getting, because unlike during slavery, you know, white people can't talk shit and do the things that they used to do to the minority population and get away with it. So clearly they need, you know, a string puppet that they can put on their lap like a ventriloquist, and you know, talk through a mouth and a face that isn't theirs so that they can get away with it. And what better face and way to do this than using a Negro bed wench, right? Now, here's what's interesting. I don't know what his political convictions are, but Candace Owens' grandfather was actually in the Senate hearing sitting directly behind her, and he allowed himself to, even though I think that was the same grandfather that denounced her speech that she gave about Adolf Hitler and nationalism when she was caught politically ghetto gagging at a college seminar in England. He allowed himself to be used as a pawn by his granddaughter when she used him to defend her, you know, what she claims are her perspectives and standing on you know, the GOP rhetoric. And you know, it's kind of reminded me of the fact that, you know, again, I don't know where he stands politically, but there are a lot of black male so-called Republicans and far right people like Herb Cain, for example, that the Republicans didn't use to be selected at this, you know, be selected to talk at this hearing. And why is that? Because it's the same reason why the civil rights movement chose to use women to spark the civil rights movement. Because people seem to react more to women, you know, in kind of a, you know, acknowledging manner. You know, I don't know if it's more out of, you know, sympathy or with a capitalizing of the SIMP in sympathy. Yes, I'm verbally typoing, or something else. But for some reason, audiences seem to, you know, they seem to react better to women. I mean, the same thing can be seen on social media. Okay, probably 10 times more bimbos have, you know, huge viral followings on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube than, you know, men do. Even men, you know, the only men who can match them are male celebrities, you know, in as far as the amount of followers that they have. Okay, I mean, look how quickly that fake bimbo Paris Milan shot up in popularity. You really think that was because of her canned talking points? No, it's because she puts on a ton of fake up and a ton of weave, and, you know, a lot of weak-minded men like that. Okay, so a lot of people are talking about, you know, this bimbo being selected and how she had no business on that panel. And no, of course she didn't have any business on that panel. She's proven throughout her career that she's nothing more than an internet troll that got lucky because she happened to be a black female caping for, you know, the party that appeals to white nationalists. Again, she was at one time a Democrat that had a internet website up where she was trolling Donald Trump, but of course her side won't say anything about that. Now, everybody knows what I think about the Democratic Party. And what's particularly interesting is most of the talking points that Candace Owens hits are actually quite accurate. I can't really argue with a lot of things that she's saying. But as I said before, when right after Brenton Tarrant, the New Zealand killer used her name to, further his cause by putting it in his manifesto, I said back then, it's not conservatism that's the problem. It's Candace Owens. Because as I've said about a lot of these bimbos, okay, I said it time and time again. Most women are not, Joan of Arc leaders. They're followers, and they will go any which way the wind blows. And thus, Candace Owens is no different. She's the same as a Paris Milan, as a Cynthia G, as a Crystalline Karazin, as a Kamala Harris. Okay, she sees which way the political wind is blowing. Okay, and she sees an angle that will benefit her in underneath a particular category of a particular political party at a particular time, and so that's the way that she's going. She just so happened to get, picked up in the stream and put in the top of the clouds. Okay. And I don't really know him, but I liked what this brother, Geoffrey Thorne, said about this bimbo when he said that they will never think of you as anything but an obedient nigger. Okay. It's equivalent to what Denzel Washington's character told that other black soldier in the movie Glory. You remember when he said that, you can march like the white man, you can talk like the white man, you can even think like the white man, but the only thing you'll ever be to him is an ugly ass chimp in a blue suit. Okay. It's not like these white boys that are, propping this hoe up don't know that, she could easily turn on them at any given time, because again, she's a reformed Democrat that was at one time trolling Donald Trump. Okay. She's a classic example of the useful idiot. Okay. A person who is clearly, not firing on all four cylinders. They will say anything that they think will get them attention, but at the same time, they serve a necessary evil. Okay. They've become their stupidity or their naiveness has become an asset more than a liability. So people that are in a position to do so use these people frequently as pawns, and usually to get what they want out of the masses. This happened. It's not just with black women. This happened all the way back during the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. For anybody who watched that awesome documentary that the History Channel did called The Men Who Built America, when what's his name, James Carnegie, was trying to expand his steel plant operations across America, and white union workers went on strike, he knew he didn't have the heart to screw, his fellow white men over and, cut jobs and run people out of their homes. So he hired this guy called, excuse me, he hired this guy called Andrew Frick, who was, kind of a lower level businessman, but he was more of a streetwise thug type of person, essentially what would equivalent nowadays to a white nigger. And he hired this guy as his chief chairman to, screw these white union workers over and kick them out of the plant. That's what led to a lot of the violent confrontations between striking union workers and Pinkerton security contractors that were hired to protect the property of the steel plants, that in some cases led to bloodshed and death. And when Henry Frick, that's what was his name, not Andrew Frick, when Henry Frick's, when his use was over as a useful idiot, basically a criminal with a business mind, Carnegie, he shucked him out the door. When he was getting bad press, he used the dude to help expand his operation and make him richer, right? While he turned a blind eye to what was going on. Then when he was done with the useful idiot, he fired him, So essentially, yes, everyone knows that this is what's going to happen with Candace Owens. Right now, she's a useful idiot, she's the trophy bed wench. and she thinks that she's climbing up the ladder, hitting all the conservative talking points, which again, most of which I don't disagree with. You know, if Black America thought more like, you know, had more of a conservative mind, I guarantee you the Black community would not be in the dumps that it is in today. Okay, the Democrats have had a stranglehold on the Black community for centuries, for as long as I can remember. And a lot of these Negroes psychologically are still slaves now. You need no more proof of that than the idiots who come to my live streams talking a bunch of dumb shit. Okay, so, you know, anyway, as I said, she's the useful idiot as seen is in the title of this video. And when, you know, as long as she's useful, like Henry Frick, they're going to use her. And when they get done with her, they're going to chuck her in the trash where she belongs. So that's my overall take on the Candace Owens circus show that was put on in the congressional hearings concerning, or what they claimed was concerning, white nationalist rhetoric. Thanks so much, guys. Stand by for tomorrow's live stream, and talk to you later, guys.